Hi and welcome back to Political Updates Elections 2015, where we give you facts, information, and of course updates on the political activities going on towards the 2015 general elections. We're all hoping and waiting for March 28th, where the people will go out to vote. And of course, we're, keeping you updated as with progress that happens within the polity of Nigerian governance. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. My name is Yemi Akinola, and if you've just joined us, I've been joined on this session again. I have some other guests that have just come in, and they are Honorable Farouk Adamu Aliyu. You're welcome, sir. And Senator Hadi Sirika. They are members APC Presidential Campaign Council, and they're here in London to promote APC campaign. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to the studio to join us this afternoon. Let me welcome you to London, and let me ask, how is the journey so far as regards the political campaigns going on in Nigeria?
Well, so far so good.
So far so good.
Yes, and we, with our candidate, have gone around the 35 states out of the 36. And the turnout of people at all campaign grounds, and also the wishes of people, what people want us to do. I mean, the candidate, when he gets there, is really overwhelming and promising as well. So we thank God that we've done it well, and how I wish the election had taken place on the 14th.
Okay.
All the same, we're going to march for Buhari, March 28th.
March 28th.
By the grace of God,
yeah.
there shall be change in my country.
Okay. March 28th. Senator, tell me, what do you think the chances are, APC chances, as at today? What would you forecast? What are the chances looking like?
Well, thank you very much. I think for me, the election has been decided. It's been won and lost in favor of APC, my party, of course.
That's a very, very
no, for the simple
prediction.
point, simple point of fact is that it's been spelled all over. If you are in the country, or if you are monitoring what is going on in the country, the population or the populace, everybody that is in that country at the moment, it's yearning for change, and for good reasons too. Here is a country where there is no law and order anymore. There is leadership with impunity. There is the highest level of corruption we've had, where $20 billion can just miss in that kind of country, where you can just go and kidnap 220 girls and take away and nothing happens, and we don't give a damn. And we are in a country where the goat and the yam principles, eating what and not, I mean, these are the issues back at home, and they are germane enough for people to want a change from the past. So for me, these are the issues. And then you could see that in all our campaigns in the APC, like my colleague said here, is that it's been issue-based. It's been on the point of fact that the country needs to change. We either change or we are changed. Just like General Buhari said, one of the things that we need to change from is this corruption. We either kill it or it kills us as a country. So for me, those are the issues. And the people have decided. You could see the massive turnout. I mean, it's all over social media. It's all over Nigeria, whoever is there or monitoring. So I think we're only waiting for March 28th. We were hoping that it would be February, but then of course they ask us now to march for Buhari. So we're waiting.
Okay, Honorable Farouk, the aspirant, the presidential aspirant, General Muhammad Buhari, was at Chatham House in London yesterday. Listening to his keynote address, what would be your response to that? How do you think the keynote address was delivered?
Well, just point of correction, he's not an aspirant, he's presidential candidate already.
Okay.
Yes. Well, all well, good. I mean, it was said, he said very well, the happenings in Africa, and particular reference to my country. Okay. That this is a country where nothing works. This is a country where the leaders are not accountable. This is a country where anything goes. This is a country where no matter how rich you are, you could be inconvenienced. This is a country where, I mean, the people are tired. And he spoke about so many issues. One, about the corruption. That, look, we are going to fight corruption. And the way we'll fight it is to ensure by the time he gets in there, we draw a line. anything that happened before that time, nothing asked, no questions asked. But anything that happens from that day, corrupt people are going to be prosecuted. People will be accountable to the government. People will be accountable to those in position of authority will be accountable for their deeds. And he also spoke about how the government in Nigeria cannot account for so many things that are happening in the country. Just like my colleague spoke about the girls that got missing. Now, whenever we speak about no electricity, no roads, nothing is working, they will say, oh, Buhari is old. When we tell them that, look, the kidnappings, the Boko Haram issue, all these things, they say, no, Buhari did not go to school. Whenever we talk about issues of the country, they don't talk about issues, they talk about personalities. This is a country where on television stations in the country, they will come out be lying, saying things that are not true, just because they want to continue. Now, remember at the Chatham House yesterday, if you're not there, persons were rented from other parts of Africa, because we spoke to some of them who didn't even know. When you ask them, okay, which state are you from in Nigeria? Then they'll start talking, how can a government, it just goes to show how deceitful the government in my country works. This goes to show that, a country where a governor would come out and say, Buhari is dead. Buhari is clinically dead. Buhari is ill. All, PDP, that's how PDP acts in the country. And by the grace of God, the time has come where Nigerians have decided to change, not because we don't like Jonathan Goodluck. Absolutely, we have nothing personal against him. I keep saying all the time that I'm a Fulani man, a Muslim. I come from Jigawa State. I am one Nigerian that is proud to say I went to court and got judgment against my Fulani brother, late President Yar'Adua, against, for Goodluck Jonathan to be acting president of Nigeria. I did it for my country. I didn't do it for Goodluck Jonathan. So we look at Nigeria. We don't look at persons. We don't look at where you come from. We don't look at what you are. No, but what can you do for the country? But now the government is divisive. They speak about which religion you practice. They speak about which tribe you come from, which is absolute nonsense. Just like what I told you. If I as a Fulani man can march the streets of Lagos, Port Harcourt, Enugu to ensure good governance, to ensure Jonathan Goodluck takes over as acting president when late Yar'Adua was ill. As a Fulani man, I went to court, I got judgment for Jonathan to be acting president. If we could do these kind of things, I have never ever met Jonathan Goodluck up till now. I have not met him. I did it for my country. So you see, if what Buhari is trying to do is, look, don't look at me from where I come from. Look at me and judge me. Am I corrupt? We have challenged them. If anybody has anything against Buhari, whether Buhari has stolen money before, let him come forward. But look, we can show you things that can be attributed to either the president or his immediate members of family. This is what we're trying to change, so that when things are done properly, people in my country will know that there is government, because we have enough resources to take care of virtually everybody.
Thank you. Senator, you mentioned February, when all of us believed that February 14 would be the date for the general elections.
Yes.
Now that it has been postponed, it was given another 6 weeks. Do you believe that 6 weeks is enough time for things to settle, for people to make up their minds, or do you think that 6 weeks is not going to be able to do what it was, set out to do?
Well, in the first instance, severally at several fora, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, the INEC, Professor Atari Jaga, did mention that he's very ready to conduct election on the February 14th. And he never minced his words. And I know him, he minced his word. And as at the time, there were over 16 million cards collected as at the time. It was about 65% collection rate at that time. And they came and said that the military had written and advised Jega that they cannot guarantee security or safety of his personnel for the election. Now, in the first instance, when you look at the combined effect of Section 14, Section 2172, 2181 of the Constitution of Nigeria, and the judgment of the Supreme Court, MD Yusufu versus Obasanjo in 2005,
Okay.
And then you look at also...
Senator, can I hold you there, please? I think we do have a call. Yes, good evening. Where are you calling us from? What's your name, please?
My name is Martin Bolago. I'm calling from Dublin, County Dublin, Ireland.
Okay, thank you. What's your contribution?
So thank you very much, Sister Yemi.
You're welcome.
My contribution is just in perspective. I want to say that I remember very well in 1983 when General Buhari took over the government from the corrupt Shagari regime, which many people have been shying away from, is that from that point in time, they started paying Nigerians' debt at every month and every quarter, and they are announcing it in NTA channel. I don't know if the representatives there know this, but I still remember very well. And then the NEPA of that time, I live in Lagos, they used to take light. Immediately the regime changes, we started having light in Lagos, when I still remember that very well. And in that time too, I was in Yaba College of Technology. We used to have 3-course meal for our breakfast. It was during SAP that this changed.
Okay.
So,
do you have any questions for them? Do you have any questions for them?
Now, the question is this. I want them to, they are very close to their party officials, and I want them to have this information and work on it if they could for Nigeria's sake.
Okay.
People are dying, number one, people are dying in Nigeria. The health sector is not good. People die without having money if they cannot get treated. Let the APC government, if they come into power, work on the health system in Nigeria, just like whatever we are enjoying overseas today. Let Nigeria live up to the expectation of what the world standard is.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So that's that's a call on you to make sure that when you do get into office, that all these things that Nigerians enjoyed under the former regime of General Muhammadu Buhari is reenacted, and of course Nigerians have a better life. Okay, sorry, Senator, you were talking a little bit about
well, yes, I was just saying that I was just saying that when you look at the combined effects of Section 14, Section 2172, 2181, and the judgment of Supreme Court of Nigeria in 2005, excuse me, General Obasanjo, then President Obasanjo versus MD Yusufu, and then also judgment of appeal court in the case of Ekiti, which happened just a couple of weeks back, and then judgment of Justice Aikawa in Sokoto, they all said that the military has no place in electoral processes. They cannot monitor election, they cannot participate. It's constitutional. And if the president desires that the military will participate, he has to bring it to National Assembly to get the approval of National Assembly to use military for elections.
Okay.
Now, how come that the National Security Advisor, whose job is to advise the Commander-in-Chief, will write a letter to Jega to tell Jega that the military or the security agencies cannot guarantee? So which means that if we are attacked tomorrow, Nigeria is not prepared. This is a one-day operation or 2-day maximum at a certain time. So I think the issues here are that they have their reasons for postponing the election, which we believe it is because it's very clear that we are coasting to victory. If Goodluck Jonathan, President Goodluck Jonathan, is sure and assured that he was coasting to victory, he wouldn't have postponed the election. It will go ahead regardless. But the point of fact that we were winning the election, they now push it too much, and we're waiting, and we'll get there, and by the grace of God, we will defeat them.
Okay. Thank you very much. Honorable Farouk, before you go, would you like to say anything to Nigerians here in the diaspora who are, hooting for change, who want the very best for Nigeria? Yeah. Have you got a word for them out there?
Yeah, well, first of all, I thank all Nigerians in diaspora, including those that are for...
Sorry. Sorry, Honorable. We do have a caller. I do apologize. I didn't hear that. Who's calling? Where are you calling us from? Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Christopher.
Thank you, Christopher, for staying on the line. What's your contribution?
Yeah, my contribution is this. I'm very happy to see people commenting on what is going on in Nigeria and the preparations towards this 2015 election. Well, my prayer is that by the grace of God, 2015 APC will win that election. But one other issue is this. If after this election, before long, if Governor Fayose of Ekiti State is not put in jail I'll be so disappointed.
Okay, we're talking about the updates to the election. What questions do you have for Honorable Aliyu and Senator Sirika that are here with us in the studio?
Well, can you please let the president in waiting, General Buhari, Nigerians are suffering, just as people have been saying. Will you please ensure that the gap between the rich and the poor be reduced drastically? This is too wide, and a lot of majority of Nigerians are suffering. We need this gap to be reduced, making sure that there is level playing field for everybody.
Okay, thank you very much.
Just Honorable,
thank you very much, the last caller. But then, let me go back to the diaspora. I honestly thank the members of, diaspora, those that are for Buhari and those that are not for Buhari, because we are all Nigerians. There's nothing personal. I mean, they have their reasons for rooting for Jonathan. We are all Nigerians. Now, we thank them very, very, very much. In fact, on behalf of the candidate, they've donated money to us, bought some computers and so on, to help us, prosecute the campaign. And one of the things we're going to assure them, we are going to work towards ensuring that our people in diaspora vote at 2019. We're going to try to do whatever we can to ensure that citizens of my country, Nigeria, can vote here, can vote in other parts of the world. We'll work towards that. But then, coming back to the last caller, it's a civilian government, and Fayose is our governor. It's one of the governors in Nigeria, and we respect him for being a governor, in Nigeria. But we don't agree with the way he does his things, and he cannot be arrested. There is an immunity clause in the Constitution, so he has the liberty and the right to do whatever nonsense he wants to do. But time will come, the day of reckoning will come when probably he leaves office. And it's always good for Nigerians to understand that all we are trying to do is to ensure probity. All we are trying to do is to ensure good governance. Nothing personal against Fayose, nothing personal against Jonathan. And we thank the people in diaspora. As I said, they know what's happening. Most of Nigerians that are out of the country did not come out of Nigeria because they wanted to. Within the last 6 years that President Jonathan has been in government, is the worst time Nigerians have ever felt. Because now nothing works in Nigeria, and we have a sitting president who cannot hold any members of his cabinet accountable. Okay. When we are making noise about the $20 billion, instead of him to ask of where is that 20 billion, what he did, make sure Sanusi goes, sacks him. The minister is still there, nobody can question her. All we are saying is find out. If investigation shows that Desiani is squeaky clean, fine. But why do this kind of thing? You remember the Stella Odua issue also, when she went and bought vehicles for 140 million, these kind of things. These are trivial issues, small monies, according to him. A president will go on a campaign and say, look, somebody had stolen a Peugeot worth 7,000 naira, and Buhari jailed him. You people that are having aircrafts, or when you steal money that can buy an aircraft, you will go to jail. These kind of things. Okay, let me hold you on that. We do have another caller. Thank you. Who's calling?
Yeah, I'm Austin. I'm calling from Ireland, please. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, Austin from Ireland.
Who's calling? Good afternoon.
I'm calling from Ireland, please.
Calling from Ireland. Who's calling?
Austin.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Austin, all the way from Ireland. What's your contribution?
Yeah, my contribution, I want to ask that gentleman question. He's telling us that the leadership in Nigeria is not where you are coming from or your political zone. But I want to ask him, why is it that people from the southeast are not ruling the country? Can you just tell us why? So that we know what you are saying there is the right thing.
Okay, Honorable
One
Farouk.
thing I want to say again is that it's our time for the South to rule that country for 8 years. Allow Jonathan to rule for the 8 years. He's trying. All these people are coming down to TV and condemning him. These are...
Okay. The question is for you, Honorable Farouk. Would you like to take that?
Now, nobody stops people from the Southeast from being president. Nobody. We are practicing democracy. And we call on our brothers and sisters from Southeast to please come and contest. I mean, nobody is saying they are not free to contest. And when he says, evidently I think he's ignorant of even the Nigerian Constitution, wherein he's saying that it is their turn to rule. Jonathan must. If we're talking of democracy, why must there? This is not like must. Let the people decide. If Jonathan wins election fair square, we shall come out and congratulate him and wish him well. Just like as I said, we still wish him well. Where was this gentleman when a Fulani man, was walking the street to ensure Jonathan Goodluck becomes acting president? That's what we're talking. You know, with Nigerians like that, who think of where they come from, we cannot progress. It is not about where you come from. Let's understand that when you go to the market, the people in the market will not ask you where are you coming from or where do you come from. When armed robbers attack, they don't ask where you come from. When you go to hospital, they don't ask where you come from. When you go to schools, you don't, you know, all these kind of things. It's got nothing to do with where you come from. It's about us, Nigerians, not about where you come from, because poverty knows no religion, poverty knows no tribe, you know, lack of bad governance, knows no boundaries. So let us please, as Nigerians, think as one people. Who will make sure there is food on my table? Who will make sure that my children go to school? Who will make sure that he does not leave his country and go to Ireland to probably be roadside cleaning or that kind of a thing? Probably a graduate who is supposed to be doing very well in his country, but you leave your country to come here and be doing menial jobs. Who can ensure these kind of things happen? That's the kind of person we should go for. And between Jonathan Goodluck and Buhari, I tell you, General Buhari, it's certainly, you don't compare. Jonathan Buhari does not even own a house in Abuja. No, Jonathan Goodluck does have a house in Abuja.
Okay. Talking about corruption, Senator, I'm going to come back to you on that. You need to tell me how APC tends to tackle corruption from the grassroots when we come back. But before then, we do have a caller. Thank you. Good afternoon for joining us. Who are you? Where are you calling us from this afternoon?
My name is Ayo Onasola.
Okay, Mr. Ayo, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Luton.
Luton. Okay, what's your contribution? What questions do you have for the gentleman in the studio this afternoon?
I'm calling from Luton. My contribution, there are just two issues I want to mention.
Okay.
The first one is people talk about integrity.
Okay.
They say Buhari has integrity. That's a fallacy. This is a man that threw us back when our democracy was burning in
1970.
Okay. Do you want to comment on that fallacy of integrity?
Well, I think he said General Buhari, he wanted to say overthrew a democratically elected civilian government, and for that he lacks the credential to become president. I think that is, if I put the question for him, much better than what he was trying to say. But in truth, that this is far from right-thinking people would think. I think the issue has been answered by General Buhari himself. And yesterday at Chatham House, he said he took full responsibility of whatever happened in his government. But that particular government that was overthrown by the military at a time when military coups were the fashion, you know, were the in thing in Africa and around the world, was a government that was not paying salaries to workers for upward of 9 months. Example, Plateau State at that time. Teachers were owed salaries for 9 months. Another example is that they were ruling with impunity and spending our money, and nobody knew how much money Nigeria was owing other countries and the Paris Club and the World Bank. Everybody was taking loans on behalf of Nigeria. We were just grinding to a halt. As a matter of fact, we were turning into a failed nation. There was corruption all over the place. There was indiscipline. Nigerians became so indisciplined that it became our trademark. I mean, it was a government that was ruled with, or was led with recklessness, from the ministers to the top echelon of those government at that time. And like he said in Chatham House, they came with good intentions and felt that this must stop and they must bring back the country on the right course. And they did. Nigeria became disciplined. We never used to use visa to come to UK when Buhari was a president, to come to England. You come in because of honor and dignity, and they believe you are a good person, you are a Nigerian, they stamp you at the airport. So we all did that. But soon afterwards, what happened? When Nigeria was put on autopilot and became so indisciplined, they require you to get a visa and get your local chief to sign for you, get guarantor, get all that, and so on and so forth. So I think for me, the situation were different. The times are different. It's no longer in vogue coups for now, and is a moment for democracy. So I believe that at that time, if he had lived in Nigeria at that time, he would know what I'm talking about, that the country was actually going to halt, and that necessitates them to take over government. And when they took over, they did very well in 20 months, and that's why he's still remembered for only those 20 months. Mr. President Quantarare, on the Congress, on the flip side of it, spent 6 years and nothing to show for it. I mean, it's not the length of time. Murtala Mohammed did 200 days through coup, but he's still remembered. Our airport in Lagos is named after Murtala Mohammed. So many schools, so many streets, and so on. Buhari spent 20 months, and he's still remembered. But those that did 8 years, 9 years, 4 years, 6 years of Jonathan, what have they put on table? So at that time, it was fashionable for you to come through coup or through whatever means to get to power and do very well, but it's not so any longer. Now it is the ballot, not the bullet, that works. And General Buhari has subjected himself to it. And he's contested 4 times, and 4 times he went to court. He didn't go to street.
Okay. So the ballots that rules now and not the bullet.
Not the bullet.
Okay. Talking about that, what are the policies of your party when you do come into power concerning corruption? How are you going? Because corruption is embedded in the society. We've had years of, corruption being within the society. It's not something that's going to go away in a day. So can you tell us, give us an idea how you're going to start to tackle corruption?
Well, first and foremost, I think corruption is the real issue. And then General Buhari said yesterday that he would lead from the front, meaning that leadership by example. And I think the mere fact that they know that the guy in charge and in control is truly in charge and truly in control, and he means business, and he does not allow what is happening now to happen, or he's not going to do that, people will begin to check themselves. That is one. And two, he's been very consistent on that. Every ministry you go, there are financial instructions and guidelines on how to spend the money and how to give the contracts and how to pay the workers and what should happen. Now, the minute that you stick to those rules and that the leader that is leading ensure that that is done, and that is the time that you begin to fall in line and begin to solve issues of corruption. It is because a thief will never come to your house and steal if he knows that he cannot get away with it. If he knows there are no exit ways. He cannot just simply take your property while you are watching and you have a gun in your hands and walk away. He will ensure that he can run away. But if he knows that he's not going to go away with it, then for sure, of course, he won't do it. So point number one is that the man coming in, as in General Muhammadu Buhari, his number one quality is his zero tolerance for corruption. You must give it to him. You like him, you hate him. That is who he is, and that is what he is known for. So if he's in charge, everybody will sit up. One. Two, all the rules and regulations that are there in place will be respected. And the law will be above everybody. And nobody will be spared. And he did say that he's going to draw a line. Of course, those things that are in court, would continue. But anything that has been done in the past, because it's so much, like you said, over the years, there's no time to start to go back to ask what happened, who's doing what. But going forward from that day that he's sworn in, by the grace of God, May 29th, 2015, everybody would answer his papa name. I use the Nigerian language, excuse me.
Okay, on that note, we're going to go on a short break. Please don't go away. We're still here on Political Updates, Elections 2015. We'll be right back. Fellow Nigerians, hashtag No Violence 2015. Free and fair elections. Make your choice wisely. Use your votes wisely. Vote wisely.
I'm a passionate Nigerian, just like many of us out there, in millions. But there's a season, and the season now is Nigeria 2015 election. The most important part of this message is please don't allow yourself to be used for any political violence. Look at the leaders, look at the way they interact, the way they talk to us, the way they behave. At the end of the day, they are only looking for that single vote that belongs to you. It's not a do or die affair. It's a do to vote very, very wisely. And that's the most important thing you can offer to them. At the end of the day, your vote do count. Thank you.
How are you, Mr. President? How is the campaign?
Hi and welcome. This is Political Updates Elections 2015. And of course, we're talking about the electoral process in Nigeria as it affects our general elections coming up in March 28th of this year. With me in the studio, I have Alhaji and I have Honorable Farouk Adamu Aliyu and Senator Hadi Sirika. They are members APC Presidential Campaign Council, and they have been here with us in the studio telling us about how campaigning has been going on, and of course who the man General Muhammad Buhari is and what Nigerians are to expect if he is voted into power come March 2015. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. I know it's been very busy for you. We've had to practically, you know, bulldoze you into coming down to the studio today to give us this interview. Senator, before we went on a break, we were talking about how we're going to be able to tackle corruption in Nigeria. You told us the process, and of course the man himself was going to lead from the front, like he said in Chatham House yesterday. Honorable, tell me, you mentioned something about some people were being brought to demonstrate against General Muhammad Buhari, and also it's been shown on social media that some youths were against him. They were protesting against him, and when they were interviewed, they didn't know who the man was or what he stood for. What more can be done to sensitize people about who the man General Muhammad Buhari is and what he stands for? What more do you think the party needs to do so that people know a little bit more about who this man is?
Well, you see, unfortunately for us in Nigeria, most of the medias that we can put out our adverts to even say who Buhari is, what he stands for, are controlled by government, or they are government cronies. You find out that those kind of lies being churned out of NTA, AIT, back home. I mean, those are the things that people see and think Buhari is that bad. And some of the kids that were at Chatham House yesterday were not even born when Buhari ruled the country. And, so we are trying as much as possible to go through the social media to say exactly who he is, what he stands for. I mean, like we tried to say, this is a man who has held positions in the country that any Nigerian leader had ever gone through those processes. I mean, he was like from platoon commander to commander-in-chief. And he was, I said, he was a minister, he was a governor of 6 states now. There used to be 1 state. He was Minister of Petroleum, Desiani of today. Buhari was Desiani some 30 years ago.
Hold that thought, Honorable. Let's quickly have this call. Yes, good afternoon. Where are you calling us from? What's your name, please?
Good afternoon. I'm Abraham. I'm calling from London.
Mr. Abraham, what's your contribution?
Yeah, my question is this. There is no doubt about it. General Buhari will do very well. This present government is so corrupt. Let me quickly go. So, for Nigeria to move forward, the civil service is so weak. They need to strengthen the civil service. We know how civil service operates here in abroad. So a civil servant always make sure he follows the rules. You don't just appoint someone who is defeated at the election as a permanent secretary. Permanent secretary always rise through the rank before he becomes permanent secretary. But it's only in Nigeria, people who are defeated at the pool, you appoint them as permanent secretary. That's why civil service, if it's strengthened, then Nigeria will move forward.
Okay.
So that is my contribution. But
thank you very much.
I can guarantee him that with General Muhammad Buhari, that shall not happen. Absolutely. Rules will be rules and rules will be followed. There shall not be anybody defeated and then coming through the back door. No. Civil servants will be allowed to work. System will be back. Everything will work as it's supposed to be. So that will be taken care of. I mean, that's not even our problem, because we know by the time he gets in there, you know that the person there is a no-nonsense person. He's somebody coming back to, like the Desiani issue we're talking about. I mean, somebody who has held all those positions but can only boast of 2 houses. One in Daura, his village, another one in Kaduna. He doesn't have a house in Abuja. I, Honorable Farouk Adamu Aliyu, can point houses of Desiani in Abuja. They are there. A woman minister that can pay 10 billion naira on plane charter. I mean, that's the order of the day in the country. So when Buhari gets there, these are savings that he keeps talking about, that from these kind of savings, there will be good governance. So this is what we want people to understand. That look, here is a person whom unfortunately we don't have enough, avenues to say who he is. As I told you, NTA is now NTA Jonathan Goodluck PLC. AIT is AIT PDP Limited. And these are the 2 major stations in Nigeria that are always on, to broadcast PDP-led.
What of social media? Because a lot of our youths here don't even watch NTA.
Yes.
So you need
yes,
to
what I'm saying, we work on that, and then we thank the people in diaspora again. I mean, the kind of, propaganda that they churn out in favor of Buhari and APC, we thank God, we thank them. So we try to do as much as possible. But then what do you do when you are dealing with corrupt persons who can give money? I saw on the social media yesterday that we were paid £80 per hour to come and demonstrate. We don't even know why we are here. You know, these kind of things.
Honorable, let's take this call. Okay. Someone's calling. Yes,
hello?
Where are you calling us from? What's your name? Where are you calling from, please?
I'm Mr. Henry Omori. I'm calling from Scotland.
Okay, from Scotland, Mr. Henry. What's your contribution?
My dissatisfaction with a lot of callers from, especially the diaspora, regarding the person of Buhari.
Okay.
It's really, really pathetic and ill-informed by those Nigerians, because they have never taken into context the reality, especially with respect to our economy and the other indices, the poverty index and the rest. They did not take into consideration those key factors in the assessment of Jonathan. And basically, if you realize the extent to which Nigeria has been subjected to, you will realize that there's no even point for this man coming up to present himself again for a re-election. This is totally out of the question. I think Nigeria will make the best decision before the rest of the world to elect no one else aside Buhari. General Buhari is the man for the next new era of the Nigerian Republic. That will be the best decision made by any Nigerian, living or on behalf of those dead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, all the way from Scotland. Thank you so much for your contribution. Yeah. Okay, so that's you were telling us how you can improve the publicity.
Give us a bit more. As I said, I keep thanking the people in diaspora. You remember earlier I spoke about donation and contributions to us, and they have opened a situation room here, where all those donations are going into a situation room here in diaspora, where they can monitor the election, where all polling units will be hooked in here, where all monies gathered for us will be utilized by those in diaspora. And we please ask them to donate more to that cause, so that at least they will monitor our elections from here and ensure, so honestly, the social media, we thank, the Nigerians in diaspora, and then others in Nigeria also who have taken it upon themselves to sell Buhari and the APC, to sell the idea of change in Nigeria, change attitude, change the way we do things. We're not changing Jonathan because we don't like his face. No. If Jonathan had done well for us, we have no reason whatsoever not to support Jonathan. And I told you, I gave you an example. And then, but look, I cross my heart, the president is clueless. A president who will tell you that stealing and corruption, corruption is, this kind of thing, who does not even understand the difference between stealing and corruption. Who thinks that, like the yam and the goat, story, that look, look, we have a clueless person, and honestly, we pray for him. Okay. Because look, if the president is bad, we are all seen to be bad. We pray for him between now and May 29th, when he will eventually hand over and go back and stay at home.
Okay, do we have a caller?
Hello.
Yes, we have a caller. Good afternoon. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm James calling from London.
Mr. James, what's your contribution, sir?
Quick question and a quick comment. I just want to say well done for a good job.
Thank you.
So my question, go quickly, without wasting time, to Honorable Farouk there.
Aliyu,
and I want him to just point out something to the people in diaspora. All right? The House of Rep and the Senate, they are less than 500 people in the population of over 170 million. And they spend the chunk part of the budget of the whole nation, of the whole country. Less than 500 people. The presidency, I don't know how many number they are, but all together it's no more than 5,000 people out of 170 million. And they spend more than 90% of the budget of the country. So how are they going to address that? And again, quick one, before I leave the phone, I want to speak to Honorable as well. Honorable, please explain to us. You are confused. People are confusing us. Not just you. I'm not for blaming APC and PDP here. I want you to enlighten people. People talk of school and everything, but school should be held responsible by the governor. Head should be held responsible. If head is failing in any state, the governor of the state should be held responsible, not the presidency. But can we put those systems in place? Because the governor of a state is the person responsible for the school of that state, not the presidency.
The clinics and the health center of the state is responsible to the governor of the state. How will we follow? Everything is just being modeled up. When we say school is not running, we blame Jonathan. Oh, water pipe is not running, we blame Jonathan. In what state, in which state, when will we start pinpointing the right people so that heads will roll? If we want to blame people on head, for instance, in Plateau State, let's handle the governor. So not everything, explain to us. Thank you. Let me know waste time so that if you can just answer that question.
Thank you.
How are we going to attend to the budget?
Okay. Honorable, that's
okay. I'm going to comment quickly on the National Assembly, but then I will allow a serving senator to answer you. I was in the National Assembly as well. But the impression there that the budget of the country is spent on National Assembly is totally false. It's not true. Absolutely not true. And I'm sure the senator will probably give you statistics and analysis. I mean, probably he doesn't understand what the budget of a country means. Now, talking about when hospital is failing, you say Jonathan. Look, Jonathan is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Yes, there are duties of state governors and so on. But when you don't lead by example, show me one federal institution, federal hospital that is working. We have National Hospital in Abuja. It's not working. Because if he is ill, he, the president, will go to Germany for treatment. You know, this kind of thing. Our late president, Eradua, went to Saudi Arabia for treatment. I mean, the federal university in his state, where I don't know which state he comes from, is not working. I mean, if the president will set an example that all federal institutions will work properly, all federal, whether the institution, whether hospitals or schools, all federal government colleges in Nigeria are virtually dead now. Why? Because there is no good leadership. By the time you live within the oath of office and oath of allegiance, everything will fall in place. You rule without fear or favor. I mean, that's so things will take their natural courses. But now we have a president who honestly lives by where his heart goes to, who he thinks should do what, who should be punished and who should not be punished. With Buhari, everybody will be punished. Anybody who does anything wrong will be punished, and those who do well will be rewarded.
All right. Okay, Senator, you take the second part of the question.
Well, yes, he said that 90% of the federal budget is spent on National Assembly. How I wish that could be true. Well, that's on the lighter side. But in truth, and point of fact, I think is if the National Assembly budget is 100 billion naira, the national budget, as it is complete, is about 4.5 or 4.3 trillion naira. And 1 trillion naira, for emphasis for him to know, is 1,000 billion, makes 1 trillion. And 4.3 trillion is what is the national budget. And the National Assembly is about 100 billion. So you could see it's a fraction. But that's not saying that there are no jumbo salaries, as they call it in the media, for National Assembly. But those salaries and wages were established by the Revenue Mobilization and Allocation Commission, established by the federal government for the allowances and salaries of National Assembly members. If you ask my personal opinion, I don't think that a National Assembly member should even be paid. It should be a part-time thing. So the people with passion, people that can contribute and want to contribute and have the experience and wherewithal to go and churn out laws in Nigeria that will be for the betterment of our people should go there. Why there is lots of rancor in trying to become a senator or House of Representatives member, because people believe that they're going to go there and get money. And it's only when they get there and they get the fat salary or they get the fat allowance and they come back home and people ask for that money. If they don't give, they get stoned. And then you end up chasing ministers, just like we've seen cases of corruption against members of the National Assembly who are busy looking for money to go back and throw it to the same people that are downtrodden to give to them so that they elect them. I mean, things happen like this. So for me, personally, it could be an option that it should be a situation whereby it is voluntary, it is part-time. Yeah, and you're not even taken care of in your travels and so on. If you are going to travel, then the government should do what it's doing in the ministries to pay for a ticket, and you go and do whatever job you are doing, and you come back. In that way, they would lose. But it's not true. It's a tiny fraction of the national budget that is spent on National Assembly and is not given as dash they all comes with heads and subheads, how to spend them, and they are being accounted for. And because of the Freedom of Information Act that we passed in the National Assembly, any citizen of Nigeria can go and take those documents and see whether those monies are retired and how are they retired. And you can go to court if you want.
Okay. We have another caller. Thank you. Who's calling? What's your name?
Hello.
Hi. Where are you calling us from?
Yeah, I'm calling from London.
Okay. What's the name, please?
Yeah, my name is Ola.
Okay. All right then.
Yeah.
What's your contribution?
The honorable fellows sitting beside you.
Yes.
Yeah, is it possible for them to tell the general to declare all his assets so that we can know, okay, Buhari has this money at this also time before he contests? Because you can see, like Dr. was saying yesterday, a lot of people say different about different people. But at least we don't know who we are voting for in Nigeria. You understand what I mean? Unlike this country, we know everything that comes to the accounts. Unlike general might have accounts in different countries. So we will know when they move money, because most of this money we're talking about, that money doesn't come from Nigeria. They transact it from abroad. So we need to know them very well. We need to know them very well. All Nigerians, we are all in black of stuff. You understand what I mean?
Okay.
Okay. I'm coming.
He said
okay. Before when he spoke about Raymond Dakwesi, the AIT, if he's talking about the AIT guy, the person who put AIT on public PLC and took all the money, he has the moral right to talk like that. I guarantee you and I assure you that President Buhari, when he comes in, he will declare his assets. He will. And we challenge President Goodluck to declare his assets even now. I assure you, I guarantee you that Buhari will declare his assets.
Okay.
Well, I think on asset declaration, it is not the declaring of the asset that is more important before you take over office. It is the declaration of asset before you take over office and after you finish the service, and for which General Buhari had done consistently in all the appointments that he held. He was platoon commander to general officer commanding, like he said. He was minister for petroleum for 3¼ years. He was a governor of 6 states in one at that time. He was head of state. He was chairman of PTF and also chairman of Katsina Foundation. And in all those times, he will declare his asset before and after. And let me add, be quick to add on this one. General Muhammad Buhari has no bank account anywhere in the world. You can check that, and if you find, you can take him to court. General Buhari has no house outside the one that he has in Daura, his local village, a local house, a bungalow, and then of course his own house of 3-bedroom duplex, 4-bedroom duplex in Kaduna. And he has no bank account anywhere in the world, and he will declare his asset before he becomes president and after. And we want to see the asset declaration of Mr. President, His Excellency Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan, before and after, so we can compare. It's easy.
Okay. Before I let you...
Just a little correction. Okay. Buhari has a local account. Before he means...
Not just a local, I say international account.
Oh,
foreign banks, foreign accounts.
Okay.
He has no foreign accounts. Of course he has local accounts, of course. But he has no foreign accounts, wherever.
Yeah. Okay. Before we let you gentlemen go, I cannot but ask, if elected into power, what would be the differences between General Muhammad Buhari of the military regime, which some people might refer to as a tyrant or a dictator, and the General Muhammad Buhari that we're going to be seeing, in a democratic situation? What would be the differences that people can look forward to?
Well, for sure there's going to be different because the circumstances is different, the government is different. It was a military government at that time when he was 40-year-old, and they ruled by decree. And those decrees are issued by the council, by the then ruling council, Supreme Military Council as they were called at that time, and they ruled by those decrees, which they become laws. But now he's going to be a president under civilian dispensation. There is a National Assembly who will make the rules for him to, or laws for him to execute. And then, of course, there will be the courts there, which, and he has transformed since then from the military man to the civilian man, and it's been exemplified from the way he contested 4 elections, and each of the elections ended up in court democratically. And when he was defeated in court, he now tried again. Okay. I mean, how more democratic can you be? So when you see the new Buhari, you're going to see a new democratic Buhari working within those laws of democracy.
All right, thank you very much.
You also will not see him in military uniform.
Okay, Honorable Farouk, before you go, a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, tell us how can we be sure that the votes will be counted free, fair? I mean, let's say that you do garner the votes. How can we be sure of the outcome? Yes.
Well, first of all, you know, the people of Nigeria have agreed this time around to ensure they vote, and when they vote, you know, that's why INEC brought what we call the machine, this card reader, where only people with PVCs will go get accredited, and if they're accredited, it will link with all the places, including our situation room here in London, where the Nigerian diaspora will do. So you will know exactly how many people were accredited, how many people will vote, which means you will know if you have won the election or if you have lost. So through that, we are assuring Nigerians that the card reader will do the magic.
Wow.
And we want the card reader to be allowed to be utilized so that Nigerians will know their votes will be counted.
Okay.
No, just before we go, sorry, one quick one for half a second or two. I mean, the people in diaspora who decided on their own to set up a situation room here to monitor the elections are not necessarily doing it just for APC. They are doing it for the entire country, whether PDP, APC, ABGA, whoever. You know, they decided they are going to fund it here and do it here and monitor. How they are going to do it, we really don't know. But that shows to you that the thing has caught fire all over the world and people are interested in what happens to Nigeria. And we thank them for that.
Wow. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I can only wish you the very best. And I hope that come 2015, March 29, we'll be singing a new song.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is Political Updates, Election 2015, and we'll be updating you every week, Friday, between the hours of 4 and 6 on what is going on within the polity in Nigeria. Thank you very much for staying with us. My name is Yemi Akiola. Till I come your way again next week, take care of yourselves. Bye.